All right, now, what you've all been waiting for. Today, we are so excited. Dave Garner. He is known for his singing. He is known for his dancing. He is one heck of a rapper. But today, he is bringing us his very own talk show. It's a morning show that he's going to be bringing to Pickens County once a month. I don't know the name of it, but Pickens County Chamber is going to be the very first to get to hear what he's going to be offering to Pickens County. So let's give a warming welcome to Dave Garner.
All right, well, thank you for that introduction. When we were talking about things today, they said they want to do, the Chamber Chicks want to do some sort of a show format, try to make it a little bit more exciting, a little more entertaining. So that's what we've done today. We put together a talk show format instead of the guys just kind of coming up and talking and taking turns. But I got to be honest, when I showed up this morning, I saw the 3 chairs sitting here and the podium off the stage. Kind of more like a Jerry Springer set than anything. I thought maybe Jerry Deckmetall would have been a better host. We could have at least chanted Jerry, anyway. But glad to have you here this morning, and we do have 2 very special guests with us that will take part in this program today, and so we're very excited about that. I'll be sitting in the middle here, sort of as the show host, but I can promise you, and I can promise our guests, this will not be a Jerry Springer type of episode here today. So with that, we're going to bring our guests up. We have with us the Commission Chairman of Pickens County, Rob Jones, and the Mayor of Jasper, Florida, Johnny Weaver. Come on up, guys. Yeah, watch these chairs now. They're kind of close to the edge there. Was that by design? We got one.
Mom, how do you turn this thing on? Or do I need it? Gotta take another hit. I didn't wear a tie because if Johnny wanted to grab it, they're not there. If anybody writes this phone number down, 706-692-9800, and your employer wants to know why you are late, that's the mayor's number.
I got to thinking that, a great charity event would be to have a roast of these 2 guys. Wouldn't that be fun? We could do, if they could roast Justin Bieber, we could certainly roast the commission chairman and the mayor. No, we're not going to do that today, but we are going to put them a little bit on the hot seat here. We've got a list of some predetermined questions that we're going to be asking these guys back and forth, and we'll try to be brief because we're running out of time here. But appreciate you guys again being with us in all seriousness, taking time out of your busy schedules to be here, to of course, be in front of all these people. And, it says a lot. I feel very powerful. I got 2 very successful people sitting on either side of me right now. So we'll go with that. Mayor, let's start with you. I know the city was included in the most recent vote for the SPLOST. How does that help the city of Jasper?
Thank you, Dave, and I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce first for letting us be here today because this is great. And all the jabs that Robert throws at me, I'm just going to simply say, Robert still thinks you guys came to college for here today. But I know that's not the case. Too many people recognize and appreciate the Chamber for all the efforts that they do to make this community as best it can be.
Now I know I'm sitting in the middle.
The SPLOST, what it means to the city of Jasper, it means everything. I've been out for several years. I used to try to quote those years, but it's been quite a while. And I have never had the funds to maintain the roads the way that we intend to do over the next few years. Presently, we have $541,000 in the bank that we collected with our 20% this year. We have spent a little bit on the sidewalk and just a little bit on culvert pipe, and we're about to release that money to bid. The county is going to be paving South Main Street from the 4-way crossing to the city limits. And the commissioner and I agreed that the city comes up with funds that we can pave Main Street from there to the 4-way stop. I hope to add maybe 1.5 foot widen on South Main Street from the 4-way stop to the city limits line, because if you travel that road, you know it is a narrow passage with more vehicles on it than it has ever been in the past. So we're going to have to address those issues. I can go on and on. We're looking at Camp Road from Bojangles down to the traffic light at Quick Trip, Dave Chevrolet, I can call all the names, Bargain Barn, at that intersection, Hounslow Electric, can't leave anybody else chamber breakfast. But anyway, we've got that. We've got Hood Road. We're going to start with our big projects first with money that we're going to get from the DOT. And we're going to pave Burton Street, that street which leaves the fire department, runs through the subdivision next to Lincoln Park and hits Sanders Street. Hood Road is going to come right after that. I have Twin Oaks steel gravel from when the Good Samaritans built the, not Good Samaritans, built the, too many associations, built the, see, I do it. But anyway, going to pave that road because it is falling apart. It'll probably be on top of the list. If you travel Cove Road this morning, it's starting to break up. You remember just a few years ago, you couldn't get here without losing your front end because you hit Burnt Mountain, and it was a mess. That was all state money that we used to pave that. But we're looking forward to the streets of Jasper not having the tar patch areas and do away with the Quickcrete and the coal patch and all those Band-Aids that we have to use. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to turn it over to Dave. I'm sorry, I know you want to go home sometime. I'm going to promise you that, Robert, but 57 Route 53, the state has recognized that 53 from 515 to downtown Jasper is one of the worst parts of the state roads, and we have gotten ourselves on now a 2-year list to be resurfaced. In the meantime, the city forces will go in and try to patch those spots, especially next to the Jasper Middle School, so that you won't lose your tires and your front end alignment and whatever else the case may be. I could go on forever and ever about this, but I'm going to pass it back.
All right, well, thank you. Commissioner, we'll turn to you now. Since 2005, the county has been utilizing SPLOST for different things. Tell us how it's improved the county.
Well, when I came on board in 2005, we had a jail that was under construction. The jail was paid off in 2010. We also did the administration building, I think was the next project down there where my offices are at. We paid that building off in 2010 also. The courthouse, which was the next project, was one that was really interesting. A lot of y'all here sitting here remember the planning and details on the courthouse. Took 2 years to put that project together. And as you know, it was all SPLOST monies also, but an individual was bringing in about $1.5, $1.3 million under the budget. But the biggest thing about the courthouse, we paid it off last April. The county does not own anything on the Pickens County courthouse. It's paid off. And the only one I've got that we do own some money on, about $1.5 million, and it is SPLOST monies also, but is the rec center down at Roper Park. As you know, the previous SPLOST, we went through the doldrums. Most everybody sitting here went through the doldrums of 07, 08, 09, and up into the 10. The collections were off from that point. Now, for the SPLOST that we've got now, the mayor has spoke to that point, and those monies are dedicated to roads, bridges, and sidewalks there in Pickens County. Hopefully we're going to push about $14.7 million for those projects. We have got a citizens group pulled together that are putting the 72, 78 roads that we've got on this list in some sort of prioritizing, because you're not going to be able to pave that many roads in 1 year. We have to spread it out. But working on that project, we're also looking at, with the SPLOST funds, is doing 2 more fire stations on the west end of the county to get the ISO rating down on that end. A lot of them are ISO of 10. Last year, we were able to bring some of the ISO ratings down outside the city limits of Jasper to a 4. So things are starting to click on that part. And of course, we're also wanting to build up the 911 center and those items that are still in the works. And I'm proud that the city of Nelson and the city of Tocumwah are also included on these funds that we're getting through SPLOST.
All right. Mayor, back to you. I hear you've become rather involved with the Chamber's newly formed Downtown Alliance Committee. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Downtown Alliance Committee was established basically at our retreat last fall. And during the retreat, as any retreat would be, you would discuss your issues that you would have in your community and how you would address those issues and solve your problems. The problem that I and the rest of the group there discussed, the rest of the group and I discussed was what are we going to do in the future? How are we going to approach the issues facing development? And of course, the main target is always your downtown. what can you do to make it better? And it's actually an easy target because it's an area that has different owners of the properties that you can address. It's not trying to just do an umbrella over the whole city. The things we're trying to talk about for downtown is something that could be accomplished, not a lot of jibber jabber jargon that we would say that we want to do and we put it on a shelf and never do. These are things that can be accomplished. Number one thing that I wanted to address at this, and it kind of got this thing kind of started, was the awnings on Main Street that have been there since the 70s and 80s. Have basically run their course, and not only are they less attractive, they also could be a hazard. I mean, you walk under one of those awnings that's been there since the 70s or 80s, and you really don't know what anchor bolt is holding that in anymore, and we really don't have an inspection program. So I'm going to approach it on a safety issue first. They need to come down, and aesthetic secondly, because that would immediately give you what these buildings look like prior to putting the metal facade on the front. And that would be that was the goal. And then we spun off on that on what else can we do? What about color? And how can we regulate to make sure we don't have breaking colors that come in? And, you know, yellow's fine to wear to church, but it's not really good color for your building when everyone else is earth tone. So we want to address those issues. But at the same time, you can't go in and tell people what they can and can't do, because there's a little thing called the Constitution, where color is a freedom of speech. And so if you're not careful, you're going to be at the state Supreme Court trying to defend yourself of violations. So, but my goal here was to get the chamber on board, to get all the properties on board, property owners on board, and not let the mayor and council try to stick it down the property owner's throat, which that would be very unsuccessful, because property owners and citizens have a tendency to close their mouth when you try to shove something down the throat. So that's what we're headed toward, where we shall arrive. We could look at a totally different look out on the city, not only in the Central Business District, Main Street, but all of the city of Jasper, and might even wash over into the county. But we got to be careful. I don't really want my neighbor to tell me what color I'm going to paint my house. So
There you go. All right. Back to you, Commissioner. Everyone's always asking about water resources in Pickens County. You know, what shape are we in, and are you taking actions to ensure that Pickens County will have water reserves?
Well, we've been working on that, of course, since '06. My predecessor worked out a contract with the city of Calhoun on water resourcing there. We were tied onto the city, but what has happened in the last 4.5 years is Pickens County Water and Sewer, City of Calhoun Water and Sewer, City of Chatsworth Water and Sewer, and Gilmer County Water and Sewer have formed a Water and Sewer Authority, a joint council. As of a few weeks ago now, the state has worked out a plan for north of I-20 that we are divided up in 4 regions. We are the next to the west region, and they call it the Coosawhatee Water and Sewer region. It's kind of like a water service delivery area. We have formed a Coosawhatee Water and Sewer Authority. That was established back about 4.5 years ago. We were the first ones in the state to do that. I have been the chairman of that board ever since it was formed. And we are now on the process now. We've been working with DNR, EPD, and the Corps of Engineers to withdraw approximately 2 million gallons a day at Carter Lake to building a reservoir. Because as we have talked about in the past, to build a reservoir, minimum cost is about $4.50 a gallon to build a reservoir. Now, when you're talking about millions of gallons, to have the storage capacity to do that, not counting the logistics of trying to find a place to put it, that's a pretty expensive process. When Carter Lake was established, it was established with a 12 million, 13 million gallon a day withdrawal. So if the water wars will ever get solved between Tennessee and Alabama and Florida, of course we get drug into that. It looks like that City of Chatsworth has already got a 2 million gallon water withdrawal permit. They want to turn that permit over to the Coosawhatee Water and Sewer Authority. Then we will go with a joint effort from all 4 counties to build our own regional treatment facility. And from that point, it will be approximately around the Doll Mountain area. So all your real estate agents, if you're looking at purchasing property, stay away from the Doll Mountain area. But that's probably somewhere in that locale is where the water and sewer, or the water treatment plant will be established. So that's coming. Most of the counties have already got 6, 8-inch, and 12-inch water lines in that area. We are one of them. So it looks like that's going to be coming down the pipe for water resources in the future. Right now, we are fine. We've still got about 10 to 15 years of growth left on the water that we've got established. But we're looking for the future of Pickens County on that point.
All right, there we go. I think the chamber chicks, they hijacked my notes here because the next question is, how did the city of Jasper and Pickens County luck out and end up with the best chamber in the state of Georgia? I don't know who put that one in there. But anyway, we'll move on. One last question.
I would like to address that one.
You go right ahead. Go right ahead.
A few years ago, when Miss Denise took this position with the chamber, I made a statement at the first chamber breakfast meeting, and I simply said, you're going to need a bigger room, a bigger building. And that building quickly couldn't hold this many people here. So I was attributing that to her abilities to talk people into paying money each year, as she referred to, giving them a chamber, but also the growth that was going to be coming at us. Because you look around this room, if we have had those 15, 20-year members that were here 10, 15 years ago and 4 or 5 years ago, we would need a much bigger building because people in Pickens County are volunteers at heart, and they business people, and they always show up, and so that's why they've been a success.
And I'd say that. Thank you, Mayor. Very well done.
There we go. All right, one last question for each of our guests today. We'll start with the mayor. Do you see any future growth on the horizon for the city of Jasper? You kind of talk about this a little bit, but either business or residential.
Well, about 7 years ago, or 8 years ago now, if you want to count back, it was like the tidal wave was coming toward Pickens County. You can look at it as a blessing or a curse that it absolutely slapped up against the wall of Pickens County and receded back toward Atlanta. Because the recession, depression, or whatever, it's been if you were out of a job or you lost your business, whether there's depression or not. But it stopped. And it actually gave us a chance in Pickens County to take a breath. I'm not sure if we've totally prepared because of the lackadaisical attitude of the growth over the last few years when the banks were having to try to survive and people's ability to go into business and out of business. And I'm not sure the same people who lost their business prior and went out of the construction business will come back. Because I'm not sure it's almost impossible to build a subdivision out of the people in Pickens County with the equipment we have because it took a really hard hit. But that being said, there's many reasons to go into business, there are many reasons to stay the heck out of it. But you guys are business people and you're entrepreneurs and you have the capability, so we're right here within. Do we want someone else to come in and develop Pickens County and City of Jasper, or do we want you guys to do that? I would prefer you guys. So it's up to you. We've got the water tanks, we've got the water available to move forward. And so we're only as good as you are. I don't care how much credit or blame the mayor and commissioners get. It's all about the citizens. If you don't like us, replace us. And if you don't like what you're doing, go out of business, go into another one. The opportunity is here in Pickens County, and it's up to you, not us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. And Rob, last question for you. What's next for Pickens County? Looking ahead.
Well, we're planning for the growth also of Pickens County. The mayor's correct. We pulled some numbers here the other day. The unemployment rate here in Pickens County at this time is 5.7%, which is one of the lowest in northwest Georgia. Even when times were good back in 06 and 07, we were still bouncing around the 3% unemployment rate. So you got probably nearly 3% of the people there in Pickens County that are still out of work. As I mentioned times, 2 people out of work is way too many. But we see the growth coming back in. We hope the economy doesn't take another downturn next fall. But we do see the growth coming back in. When things kind of bottomed out back in the first of 2008, we were at about 29,600 people. Right now we're at 29,644. So it's teetering on the top to take off. We did some numbers here also the other day to the fact that commercial and industrial buildings in Pickens County, the metal buildings, those are outside of Pickens County as well as in the city of Jasper, have just about either sold, leased, or rented. I think there's about 4, probably 5 buildings left, and there's a couple of those under construction as we speak for future growth here. So it's coming back, and I see that growth coming on. I see tourism picking up. I know the big elephant in the room here is the water park. Thank God that question probably won't come up, but everybody's concerned about traffic up and down the 4-lane. When we all know that up in Murphy, North Carolina, there's a casino being built. That casino is probably going to be finished this summer. Your traffic's going to get here if the water park comes or not. So those are the issues that we're looking at. How can we trap that traffic that's going up 515? So that's what hopefully with the mayor's help and the Chamber of Commerce, trying to trap that traffic before they go up the 4 lanes where they can spend some money here in Pickens County.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Well, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and our local business community, I want to thank you guys for taking some time out. Job well done today. Thank you, gentlemen. And that's going to wrap up this first edition of the Q&A the Chamber Way. So we appreciate you guys being with us this morning. And that's going to wrap things up for this portion of the program. And I'll turn it back over. Thank you guys. Thank these guys for being with us.